What is going on, you guys? Welcome to my full card breakdown for UFC Noche this weekend. Not a very great card, but we have a phenomenal main event, so it makes up for it. I really like my parlay lock of the week this week. Also, I have an almost plus 900 long shot parlay that I'll give to you guys at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. Last week, we got absolutely slaughtered. There's losing a bet, there's getting smoked, and then there's aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and that's what happened to us this week. I mentioned in both this video and my lock of the week video that I was not confident this week in the card and to only throw half a unit on this parlay. Obviously, even with my concerns in the card, I didn't think it was going to be that much of a shit show. This is why I stress the importance of treating this parlay lock of the week like an index fund. Throw the same amount of money every week. You don't want to be the person that throws a ton of money one week just because I've won the past 3 or 4 weeks, and then that's the week that busts. The Mauricio Rufy fight, can't make any excuses for that. BSD looked incredible. The Kita fight, that one sucks. I was pretty confident in that. I think it's so stupid that the UFC cut him after he took it on short notice. I think it's just a joke why even bring him in. But the Andreas Gustafsson fight, something about this fight was so fishy. I've never seen a fight that looked more fixed in my life before. If there's 2 things anyone can say about Gustafsson, it's that he has sloppy technique on the feet and he's durable as shit. You're telling me this guy who's had his face smashed in, nose shattered, never stops coming forward, never backs down. That guy folded to a single punch from Renat Fakhretdinov, the guy who couldn't even bruise Carlos Leal, and everyone thought Carlos Leal had a good chin, and then the next fight, he got flatlined in 40 seconds from senior citizen Muslim Salikov. The way Gustafsson was fighting, it looked like he was trying to make it look like he was trying to fight, like he was in a movie scene. I knew the technique was going to be bad, but at one point he gets a hold of him and then just lets go. Almost like it wasn't in their game plan for him to do that. Then just immediately crumbles to one punch, shows up on the fence, and every single punch after that, not a single one landed. And he just drops. And he, clear as day, just gives up and goes to the floor. And one of my followers, shout out to you, informed me that somebody messaged him on Facebook, all mad because they lost money on him. And Gustafsson responded saying it's for the best. And it just so happened that Renat, who's known for being a blanket grappler, who's never talked about going for a finish before in his career, just so happened to say that he was gonna go for a first round knockout this fight.
Coincidence? I think not!
The gambling commission needs to investigate it. I truly believe Renat paid to have that fight thrown. Regardless, I knew the card was not trustworthy to begin with. I should have just not thrown a parlay at all. I skipped the last Paris card because every Paris card is this untrustworthy and it ended up working out because nobody made money. I'm never throwing on a Paris card again. I'll do a full card breakdown, but that would have been one of the best fight cards we've ever seen if we all didn't lose money on it. Also, the crowd in France, I think, has a major effect on the fighters. It might be the only place in the world where that's the case. The judging in Paris is always horrific. I mean, the main event, 49-46, 49-46, and a 50-45. If that's not one of the most biased, atrocious scorecards I've ever seen. I thought it was clear as day Imavov won 48-47. Just that whole card was a massive reminder to never bet on Paris again. I have that same rule for Abu Dhabi because the fighters are also super untrustworthy and the judges are terrible. So yeah, if I'm ever that hesitant on a card again, I'm just not going to do it. Even if I tell you guys it's a half a unit and it's not as confident, I'd rather just keep the same level of confidence for the parlay lock of the week. I felt like I was going to miss out on an opportunity if I didn't do a lock of the week this week because last week there was no fights. The week before that, we missed with the China parlay. And since that lock of the week for the China card did so well on my Instagram, I felt like I was going to miss out on an opportunity if I didn't post one. It's whatever, you live and you learn. This week, I'm much more confident though, thankfully. And so yeah, let's get into these fights. First fight of the night, we got Montserrat Rodon versus Elise Pereira. I'm weirdly excited for this fight to see how Elise Pereira is. She's only 19 years old, coming off the regional scene in Brazil. Only 6 professional fights and some low-level professional fights. I mean, some of the lowest I've seen. Not really much of her fault. I mean, she's 19 years old in Brazil. I just don't think there's enough competition for her. There's practically no tape we can find on this girl. Her last fight was 5 rounds for some reason, and the only footage you can find on it is somebody filming it from their phone from like a balcony on the 2nd floor. You can't even see anything going on in the fight. The only other tape I could find on her besides sparring footage was her fight against Chris Silva, which is the one on Tapology that says it got flagged for legitimacy issues. It took me so long to find this fight and was honestly one of the funniest regional fights I've ever seen in my life. It was like this martial arts event that had everything from like gi jiu-jitsu to MMA, but the octagon was just placed in like the middle of like a food court in a mall with just some folding chairs around it. And then Elise Pereira's fight, she comes out there, looks like she's 2 feet taller than her opponent. In 8 seconds, drops this girl with one punch, jumps on top of her, the ref stops it. Elise like goes back into her corner, looks like she's ready for another round. I think that's what both of the fighters thought was going on. And then the ref was just like, no, the fight's over. It looked like nobody knew what was going on. I wish I could understand Portuguese. One of the weirdest fights I've ever seen doing tape study. I'm gonna go with Elise Pereira in this fight, way younger. At least the sparring footage, she looks like she's got some speed, some toughness. Rendon, even though she's fought at the UFC level before, she just has looked horrible. She's a decent wrestler, has some decent takedowns, but the striking is just atrocious. Her hands are so slow, it looks like she's punching underwater. Horrible entries with no defense. Will shoot a takedown but not fully commit to it and be hesitant, so she's just leaving herself completely open on the feet. I'm gonna go with Elise Pereira. Much younger, probably improving drastically every fight, every training camp she has. No way you should be trusting your money on her. We have no idea where her wrestling stands. Rendon could get this fight to the ground and just keep it there as much as she wants. So I'm gonna go Elise Pereira. Definitely wouldn't trust putting my money on her. Next fight, we got Alessandro Costa versus Alden Correa. I think Costa puts on a beat down in this fight. Correa's taking this fight on short notice, coming from the regional scene. He's a grappler, but doesn't have the best wrestling. The level of competition that he's dominating on the ground is just horrible. Against Jose Leon, he just gave him his back up against the fence while standing. I'm not talking like on the ground while trying to get up, like just turned his butt to him like he was trying to grind on him in a school dance. The boxing technique is good, but the timing on the counters is really bad. Doesn't handle the forward pressure well, really predictable striking. He'll throw the same straight 1-2 back to back to back. He's got a lot of defensive flaws that he can get away with fighting at this level. You know, he doesn't check leg kicks, really slow feet, doesn't have that fast movement. He chooses to absorb a lot of strikes rather than trying to dodge them or move out of the way. He'll do that death lean that Trey Waters got knocked out by Sam Patterson with. Costa's got some of the fastest and heaviest hands at 125. He's not just going to be faster than Correa, but the fastest that Correa has ever seen before. Super aggressive when he hurts you, nasty leg kicks, 2 finishes by leg kicks actually, gorgeous body shots. I understand that Correa is young and improving, but so is Costa. People forget that he's only 29 years old. Steve Erceg is the same height and reach as Correa, just much better, way better boxing, way faster, a lot better movement. And Costa was having success against him, even dropped him at one point. I think Costa's going to be levels above everywhere. I think he puts on a dominant performance. Give me Costa by knockout. Next fight, we got Zachary Reese versus Cedric Dumas. Another fight that I think is really easy to call. I think Zachary should be better everywhere. He's got good striking, great body kicks, good grappling, and does a good job of mixing in the takedowns with his striking. The biggest problem is his chin, but Dumas is not somebody that's known for knocking people out. He showed pretty decent cardio in the Medina fight, which is pretty impressive considering that was his first fight that left the first round. Cedric Dumas is just like a jack of all trades, but a master of none. Really struggles with the tall, rangy guys. A lot of defensive flaws like ducking into uppercuts and knees. Even though his background is in street fighting and striking, he needs to control the wrestling to win the fight. When he can't get someone to the ground and they're too long and rangy for him to close a distance on, it seems like he kind of just gives up. We saw it in the Nursultan Ruziboyev fight with how late and delayed his reaction to the eye poke was. We saw him drop just from a forearm from a call of J-check and then just cover up on the ground, not try and do anything to move out of the position. And there's just so much going on behind the scenes with him. Clearly, he can't shake the crowd that he was running with. Still getting into legal trouble all the time. Posted a picture that he only has $14 left in his bank account. I can only imagine coming off house arrest and all that stress and all those court dates. That can only take away from your training and make you worse in the long run. I'm going to go Zach Reese in this fight. I think he dominates. I think he either gets a sub or a knockout, probably in the second or third round. Next fight, we got Jesus Aguilar versus Luis Garul. I like Luis Garul in this fight. Jesus Aguilar is just way too low output for me to pick him. He's got a good guillotine, but it seems to hurt him more often than it helps him. He gives up a lot of takedowns. If he can't finish the choke, then he's on his back for the round. Really good cardio and submission defense, but Garul is not going to be looking to take it to the ground probably. I think he's going to be a much better striker in the feet. hits harder, cleaner boxing, a lot higher output. He's got a super bad habit of dipping his head down into the left every time he either slips a punch or throws. I don't think Jesus Aguilar is going to be the guy to expose that, but eventually somebody with a nasty head kick is going to read that and easily be able to put him out with it. I'm going to go with Garul in this fight. His wrestling should be good enough to keep it on the feet, and I think the boxing and output is going to be too good for Jesus. So give me Garul to win this fight, probably by decision because of how tough Jesus is. Next fight, we got Tatiana Suarez versus Amanda Lemos. I will never understand the hype behind Tatiana Suarez. I've always been somebody who doesn't bet on people who are takedown or bust. Suarez is the epitome of that. We saw how badly she got exposed in her last fight. I get it, it was Wei Li. She also only landed 12 significant strikes over 5 rounds. I don't care how good your opponent is that is being completely exposed. I think it's clear as day and obvious how this fight goes depending on where it takes place. If Suarez can get it to the ground, Lemos is not going to be able to get up to her feet. If Lemos can keep it on the feet, she's going to smoke Suarez in the striking. I'm going to lean Suarez just because Amanda Lemos does not have a chance to get to her feet if she gets taken down. So all Suarez needs is one takedown a round. I think you're absolutely delusional for putting 5-1 odds on her when she's takedown or bust to begin with, never mind against somebody who's a better striker than her. So I'm going to lean Tatiana Suarez, probably by decision. Next fight, we got Claudio Puelas versus Joaquim Silva. You will catch me dead before you catch me picking a butt scooter in a fist fight against a Brazilian. Joaquim Silva by knockout. Next fight, we got Jose Medina versus Dusko Todorovic. I like Todorovic in this fight. I get it, Dusko isn't exactly trustworthy, but the level of competition he's lost to is pretty high. I don't like how he seems like he's finished or bust. It doesn't seem like this guy is equipped to win a decision or even wants to go to a decision. That could be a problem against Medina, whose chin and durability is so crazy and pretty much what got him into the UFC. Unfortunately, I just don't know if the rest of his game is UFC level. We haven't even really seen it yet. I think Todorovic can get this fight to the ground. I don't think Medina has enough power to put him out. So I'm going to go with Todorovic by decision. Next fight, we got Alexander Hernandez versus Diego Ferreira. I really like Hernandez in this spot. Ferreira is so old and washed up, it's not even funny. I think he's one of the most overrated fighters in this sport. He's so hyped up just because of a comeback win against Michael Johnson and Rinaldo Rebeski. Michael Johnson isn't just old, but Diego was losing every single exchange on the feet until he found that knockout. That one punch that flatlined him was the only success Diego had the entire fight. Against Rebeski, almost got finished in the first round, and now we know, thanks to Moicano, that Rebeski just doesn't put in any effort or work ethic into the gym, which really explains why his cardio is such shit. Ferreira is just so old and slow, and the defense is non-existent. Strikes are so sloppy and careless. Against Grant Dawson, looked the worst he's ever looked. I thought he might have a chance of putting Grant Dawson away if he kept it on the feet. Grant Dawson was like staying on the feet with him because of how outmatched Diego was. It looked like Grant Dawson would be the one to knock him out, not Diego. Alexander Hernandez coming into his prime, young, fast, way better striker, way cleaner technique. I think he comes out here and puts a beating on Diego. Had a close fight with Austin Hubbard and Kurt Holloway, which does scare me, but I do think he's going to be significantly better on the feet, and I don't think he's going to have any problem keeping it there. So give me Alexander Hernandez to win this fight, probably by decision because of how durable Diego is. And then we got Kelvin Gastelum versus Dustin Stolfus. I'm the biggest Kelvin Gastelum hater out there. I don't think this guy's skill is good. I think he gets away with so much just because he has a chin made of lead. He would quite literally be knocked out by every single one of his opponents if he didn't have that chin. Anytime I watch tape on this guy, all I see is piss poor striking, sloppy technique. I just don't see what these people see in him. If he had any sort of discipline or work ethic, he could be fighting at lightweight. Stolfus though, I just don't know if he's good enough for me to get behind. As much as I want to fade Kelvin, you watch tape on Dustin and it's just the hands just aren't good enough. I think if he fought a smart game plan and cleaned up his hands, he definitely could beat Kelvin. He's got some really good kicks and teeps and can keep him at range with it, but he does not fight with a high IQ. He's going in reckless with his hands, slow, chin in the air. He's a lot more durable than his record tells. Kelvin Gastelum is not hitting anyone with a front kick to the face anytime soon. Kelvin's fought the much higher level of competition, but has also gotten dominated by every one of them. I'm going to lean Kelvin in this fight. Not very confident in it at all. I don't see how anyone can put their hard-earned money on this guy, but I'll take him to win this fight, probably by decision. And then we got Rafa Garcia versus Jared Gordon, another fight where the odds are way too wide. It's clear as day that Jared Gordon is at the end of his career, 38 years old, slowed down so much. The technique has always been dog shit, but at least he had some speed and a little bit of power back in the day. His last fight, he looked horrible, so much slower, countering was bad, reaction time was terrible, and then you mix that with the already bad technique he had, and he just really looks bad at this point in his career. I think a ton of his hype comes from the close decisions he had with Paddy Pimblett and Nasrat Haqparast, but I think Jared Gordon was a much better version of himself back then, and both Paddy Pimblett and Nasrat were not. That yoked up version of Paddy Pimblett that fought Bobby Green with his chin tucked, I think would smoke Jared Gordon. The Haqparast that showed up and landed 150 some odd strikes against Ribovic, I think he would smoke Jared Gordon. Rafa Garcia is only 33, but he also feels like he's at the end of his career. He just doesn't seem like he's the same fighter that he used to be. Really tough and durable, has a good 1-2 that's definitely faster than Jared Gordon, but when he starts throwing anything that's not a straight punch, the technique goes out the window. I'm going to lean Jared Gordon in this fight. I think that the pace and pressure and the way that he constantly is moving forward, pressing you up against the fence, leaning on you, wearing out your arms, I think that might be enough to nullify the straight punches and make Garcia hesitant. In no world would I ever suggest betting on him, never mind at these odds. I think this fight is way closer than people have it. If you're going to play this fight, do the over 2.5. That definitely seems like a much safer bet, and you're getting the same odds as Gordon's money line. So I'm going to go Gordon to win this fight, probably by a decision. And then for the co-main event, we got Rob Font versus David Martinez. People are complaining about this fight. I get for a UFC Noche co-main event, it could be better. I do think it's going to be an incredible fight though. Possibly fight of the night. I think it's going to be really entertaining. Rob Font is getting up there in age, 38 years old, but he doesn't look it. He's going to have a massive experience edge over Martinez. Has over just a decade alone in the UFC. He's pretty much exclusively a boxer. You never really see kicks out of him. He's got good hands and defense. He does his best work when he's coming forward, pressing his guys backwards, making it gritty in the clinch with the dirty boxing. But we have seen him struggle moving forward against guys who are faster than him. He's got really good cardio. The pace and pressure never slows down, but the hand speed does. Martinez has taken this fight on like 6 weeks notice. A little worrying, but he's a really good striker, almost has like a karate-like style, incredible kicks, super fast head kicks, really heavy calf kicks. I've never seen someone fight this angry in my life before. If he threw with like 30% less power and tightened up his boxing, he'd be a problem in this sport. He's got good cardio and is really light on the feet, especially considering how angry and tense he is all the time. Does a great job using lateral movement and footwork to always stay away from the fence. We've already seen a lot of improvements in his striking and defense just from the Contender Series to his UFC debut. Even though Rob Font has a huge experience edge over him, I think this is a really bad matchup for him stylistically. We saw him struggle with the lateral movement and the speed of Figgy, which I think is a very similar style to Martinez. I think Font will make it a lot closer than he did against Figgy, but I do think the speed and movement of Martinez is going to give Rob Font a lot of issues. His chin worries me a lot too. He got dropped bad twice against Figgy, but in the end, I just can't pick him. We've seen him struggle against a similar style in Figgy. His chin worries me. He sometimes pulls out that Juliana Pena striking format. I think Martinez is going to be too clean, too fast, too light on the feet for him to catch. And then finally, we got the main event, Diego Lopes versus Jean Silva. What a fight this is, man. Diego Lopes is an absolute savage. Tons of power, super aggressive. Almost feels like he's too aggressive at times with how much he winds up on his hooks and his uppercuts and how many hooks he throws in a row. He doesn't move his head nearly enough though. It's why we love him so much, is because he doesn't care how good someone is or how hard they hit. He would rather just eat the punch and keep moving forward than learn head movement or learn how to cut an angle. The more shots he's hit with, the angrier he gets. He never backs down. Rewatching his fight against Volk and Ortega, he really struggled with the range of both of them. He does his best work when he's in the clinch, dirty boxing, using those aggressive body shots and uppercuts to break you down. But when he's doing that, he's really leaving himself open to overhands. I'm so excited for this fight, but part of me is a little bit worried because I think these guys are going to hate each other when the fight's over. Lopes is not going to take the antics and the showboating from Silva lightly. Lopes is a guy that's always carried himself with respect in the cage. He's always been humble, never one to be taunting or showboating. He gets angrier to begin with just from from eating punches. And then against Volk in the last round, Volk just like spit on the ground, like to get blood out of his mouth. And it triggered a very big and angry reaction out of Diego Lopes. And that's against Volk, who's one of the most humble, nicest guys in the sport. The more he gets angry, the more his defense goes out the window too. I don't think him fighting angry is a good game plan. I think it would hurt him more than help him. Ton of people are going to be fading Silva because BSD made us poor last week. I'm sorry, I think Silva is probably the best counter striker we've ever seen in the sport. The timing and speed from this kid is just unreal. I just can't get over the timing and speed from this kid. It's like nothing I've seen before. I've also never seen someone so comfortable inside of a cage. Against Bryce Mitchell, you can see him pointing in the crowd to Mauricio Ruffy before throwing a spin kick. Always looks like he's playing with his food out there. It's like a cat that caught a mouse and he's just pawing with it, toying with it before he kills it. He's like smiling and congratulating his opponent when they miss on him, almost like he knows he's so much better than these guys, they have no chance, and he's just laughing and letting them swing on him for the fun of it. Against Bryce Mitchell, on the broadcast, you could hear him calling out to Rufi in the fight. He was telling Bryce Mitchell he's gonna hit him with an elbow before he hit him with it. I mean, we're talking Chad Ochocinco levels of mental warfare. This fight feels like Lopes is in between a rock and a hard place. If he's aggressive and charging forward, Silva's gonna have a ton of success with the spinning kicks and the counters. But Lopes fighting at range and trying to outstrike and out-counter Silva is probably an even worse plan. I think eventually that showboating and arrogance is going to bite Silva in the ass. But I just don't think Lopes is a good enough striker to do it. I think Silva is the next featherweight champion. I think he beats Lopes. I think he beats Volk. I think Silva is going to gain more confidence and arrogance with every fight that he wins. And eventually, I just think that karma is going to catch up to him. But I don't think Diego Lopes is going to be able to be that guy that does it. So I'm going to go Jean Silva in this matchup. I think he gets a finish, probably a KO or TKO, 4th or 5th round maybe. I just think the striking and the speed and the counters are just too much for Lopes, especially with how hittable he is. So that'll do it for this video, you guys. Don't worry, I did not forget about the parlays. My parlay lock of the week is Alessandro Costa, Zach Reese, and Jean Silva. And then that long shot parlay that I have at almost plus 900. It's a 5-leg parlay, and it's Garul at minus 218, Dusko at minus 340, Alexander Hernandez minus 115, the over 2.5 rounds in the Garcia and Garrett Gordon fight. And then to finish it off, David Martinez money line at plus 114 comes out to plus 884. Remember, this is meant for you guys to sprinkle on. The lock of the week is what I carry my true confidence with and what I calculate the ROI and the record with. Hopefully we can get a bounce back week this week. It definitely feels like a better and more trustworthy week than last week. If you guys are still watching, thank you so much. I appreciate it more than you know. Please leave any comments, suggestions that you have. Please follow my Instagram and TikTok. They're both just UFCharlesDoBronx, all lowercase. Subscribe to this channel if you're new. If you like the video, drop a like. It means the world to me. And I will catch you guys in the next video.